Hello, Ryan here, and I've got a fun one for you today. We're going to make an all-in-one event planner in Google Sheets. With the event planner, you can manage your guest lists and RSVPs. You can create a budget for the event and track all of your spending, and you can even manage all of your preparation tasks as well. Plus, you've got the summary page where you can set a date for the event, add any extra notes, and quickly view important information all in one place. Okie dokie, now that you know what we're building, let's get to it. And if you don't have the time to make it, you can always purchase the template via the link in the description. That being said, let's begin with a blank Google Sheets workbook. The first thing that we're going to do is set up the worksheet structure. Go ahead and use your mouse to select columns I through Z. Right-click on the column headers and select Delete. Next, click in this box, which is called the name box. Type in 21:1000 and press Enter. This is going to select rows 21 through 1000, and with these rows selected, right-click on the row headers and select Delete. At this point, select rows 2 through 20, right-click, resize rows, set the size to 25, and click OK. Then select row 1, right-click, resize row, set the size to 35, and click OK. Then, with row 1 still selected, change the font size to 12, bold the font, click the font color button, select white, click the fill color button, click the plus icon here, and enter the hex code 31937A. This is just the hex code for one of my favorite shades of green. And finally, click OK. Next, click here to select all cells, then change the horizontal alignment to left, and change the vertical alignment to middle. Then select column A, right-click, resize column, set the size to 35, and click OK. Let's now turn off the grid lines by going to View, Show, Uncheck Grid Lines. Okie dokie. That does it for the base worksheet structure. We will now make 4 copies of this worksheet to save us from repeating all of these steps all over again. So right-click on the Worksheet tab below, select Duplicate, then do this again, and one more time. From here, rename the 4 tabs to Summary, Guests, Tasks, and Budget. Awesome. Let's start with the budget worksheet. Select cell B1 and type in Budget. Then select the range B3 through C5. Click the Borders button up here in the toolbar. Change the color to gray. Then click this button to apply all borders. Next, select the range B7 through E17, click the Borders button, and apply all borders. Now select cell B3 and type in Budget, then Spent, and Remaining. Select cell C3 and type in 500. And in cell B7, type in Date, Item, Notes, and Amount. Then below, type in a few pieces of sample data like so. This is going to help us validate our formulas later on, and you can always delete the sample data later as well. That being said, the next step is to clean up the formatting. Start by selecting the range B3 through B5. Bold the font, click the Fill Color button, and select Light Gray 2. Now select C3 through C5. click the More Formats button here and select Number. Then change the horizontal alignment to right. Select cell C4, change the font color to red, change the fill color to light gray 2, select cell C5, change the font color to blue, change the fill color to light gray 2. Select the range B7 through E7, bold the font, and change the fill color to light gray 2. And now select the range B8 through B17. Click the More Formats button here and select Custom Date and Time. In the box on top, clear what you see there. You can then use the down arrow to build a date format that you like. Personally, I like to add the month and have it as a month as abbreviation, and then add a space, add the day, day with leading 0, comma, space, add the year, and select full numeric year. Then, once you've built your date format and you're happy with it, click on Apply. Awesome. Next, select the range E8 through E17, click the More Formats button here, and select Number. Then select column E and change the horizontal alignment to right. Finally, you can adjust the column widths to fit your own personal preference by clicking on the right side of each column header like so, and simply drag to expand or shrink the column. The best part is that you can set it up however you want to. Okie dokie. Now for the formulas. Select cell C4 and enter the following. Equals sum function E8 through E17, close parentheses, and press enter. Then in the cell below, add this formula. Equals C3 minus C4. Just like that, you're finished with the budget worksheet. Let's move on to the tasks worksheet next. Start by selecting cell B1 and type in tasks. Then select row 3, right-click, and resize row. Set the size to 35 and click OK. Then select B3 through C3, click the Borders button, and apply all borders. Then select B5 through D17, Borders, apply all borders. Next, select cell B5 and type in Date, Task, and Status. Then below, add a few sample tasks like so. Now for the formatting. Select cell B3, increase the font size to 12, bold the font, change the font color to the custom green that we added earlier, change the fill color to light gray 2, and change the horizontal alignment to center. Then select the range B5 through D5, bold the font, and change the fill color to light gray 2. Then select the range B6 through B17, click the More Formats button here, and you should see the custom date format that you created earlier listed right here, and go ahead and select it. Next, select column D, change the horizontal alignment to center, then select D6 through D17, and go to Insert, Checkbox. You can then resize the columns however you want them. Also, go ahead and check that first checkbox as well. Now for the formulas. Start by selecting cell B3 and enter the following. Equals if error function, count if function, D6 through D17, comma, true, close parentheses, divided by count A function, C6 through C17, close parentheses, comma, 0, close parentheses, and press enter. And by the way, if you happen to live in a country where a comma is used as your decimal separator instead of a period, then you might have to write your formula like this instead with semicolons used as the argument separators instead of commas. Just something to be aware of. Either way, let's take a look at how the formula works. It uses the COUNTIF function to count the number of checked checkboxes, which are equal to true, by the way. Then it divides this number by the total number of entered tasks, which is calculated by the COUNTA function. We include the if-error function here so that we get a 0 instead of an error whenever there are no tasks listed. That being said, to change the result to a percent, select cell B3 and click the percent button here. You can then use these buttons to add or remove decimal places. Okie dokie, one more formula to go. Select cell C3 and enter the following. Equals sparkline function B3, comma, open bracket, quote, chart type, quote, comma, quote, bar, quote, semicolon, quote, max, quote, comma, 1, semicolon, quote, color 1, quote, comma, quote, B5E 6DA, quote, close bracket, close parentheses, and press enter. And for those using semicolons instead of commas, your formula is going to look like this. And that is all there is to it for the tasks worksheet. Let's move on to the guests worksheet next. Start by selecting the range B3 through D6. Go to Borders, Apply All Borders. Then select the range B8 through E17, Borders, Apply All Borders. Next, select cell B3 and type in yes, no, maybe, and no response. These 4 options represent your RSVP statuses that you can choose from, and if you want different ones, then you can simply change them here. Once you've decided, select cell B8 and type in name, quantity, notes, and status. Then enter a few names and quantities below. Now for the formatting. Start by selecting B3 through C6, bold the font, and change the fill color to light gray too. Then select B8 through E8, bold the font, and change the fill color to light gray too. Okie dokie. Now is a great time to resize the columns however you want them. After that, select columns C through E and change the horizontal alignment to center. Next is the drop-down chips for the status column. Select the range E9 through E17. Then go to Data, Data Validation. Click on Add Rule, and for the criteria, select drop-down from a range. Then for the data range, select B3 through B6 and click OK. Now for the various options, you can actually customize their colors. To do so, select the gray circle next to each option and choose a color style that you like. And you can do this for every option or for just a few. And whenever you're finished, click on Done. Now, you can easily assign RSVP statuses to every guest in your list. Okie dokie, all that's left is the formulas on top. Start by selecting cell C3 and enter the following. equals SUMIF function E9 through E17, and then add in $signs to make this an absolute reference. Then add a comma, B3, comma, C9 through C17, and again, add $signs to make this an absolute reference. Then close parentheses and press enter. This formula simply adds up the quantity numbers for those guests who have an RSVP status of yes. And what's nice is that you can copy the formula down using the fill handle. Just click on the fill handle and copy it down to cell C6. Okie dokie. Now for the data bars. Select cell D3 and enter the following. Equals sparkline function C3, comma, open bracket, quote, chart type, quote, comma, quote, bar, quote, semicolon, quote, max, quote, comma, sum function, C3 through C6, and make this an absolute reference, close parentheses, semicolon, quote, color 1, quote, comma, quote, light blue, quote, close brackets, close parentheses, and press enter. And for those using semicolons instead of commas, your formula is going to look like this. Either way, once you have it working, use the fill handle to copy the formula down to cell D6. Awesome. Next, select cell D4, and where it says light blue, change that value to pink. In cell D5, change the light blue to gold, and in cell D6, change the light blue to light gray. And if your colors happen to be different from mine, just try experimenting with different types of color names and see what you come up with. Either way, to finish up this worksheet, select cell B1 and type in the following formula. Equals, quote, guests, space, open parentheses, quote, ampersand, sum function, C9 through C17, close parentheses, ampersand, quote, close parentheses, quote, and press enter. This formula uses the sum function to add the quantity numbers, and then this number is attached to some text to give you a final result that looks like this. Okie dokie, that's it for this worksheet. So let's move to the Summary tab. Start by selecting cell B1 and type in Event Details. Then select the range B3 through C4. Bold the font. Change the fill color to light gray 2. Apply all borders. Select E3 through F4. Bold the font. Change the fill color to light gray 2. Apply all borders. Select B6 through C8. Bold the font. Change the fill color to light gray 2. Apply all borders. Select E6 through F8. Bold the font. Change the fill color to light gray 2. Apply all borders. Select B10 through F17. And apply all borders. Then go back and select cell C3, fill color, and reset. From here, go ahead and type in all of these values into their corresponding cells. And finally, type in your event date into cell C3. You can then format the date by going to More Formats and select the custom date format that you've been working with. Next, let's clean up the notes section below. Select the range B10 through F10. Bold the font. change the fill color to light gray 2, and then click this button to merge the cells into one. Then select the range B11 through F11, merge the cells into one, and use the fill handle to copy the cells down to row 17. Now to finish the table, select B11 through F17, click the Borders button, change the border color to light gray 2, then click this button to apply middle horizontal borders. Awesome. All that's left is the formulas. Start by selecting cell C4 and enter the following. Equals C3 minus today function, close parentheses, and press enter. You can then change the font color to green or any color of your choice. Next, select cell C6 and enter the following. Equals sum function, move to the Guests tab, select C9 through C17, close parentheses, and press enter. Then select cell C7 and enter this formula. Equals, move to the Guests tab, select cell C3, and press enter. Then go ahead and change the font color to blue or color of your choice. Next, select cell C8 and enter the following. Equals, if function, C7 equals 0, comma, 0, comma, C7 divided by C6, close parentheses, and press enter. Then click the % button here and adjust the decimals. Also, change the font color to blue. Next, select cell F3 and enter the following. Equals, count A function, move to the tasks worksheet, select C6 through C17, close parentheses, minus count if function, select D6 through D17, comma, true, close parentheses, and press enter. Then select cell F4 and enter the following. Equals, move to the tasks worksheet, select cell B3, and press enter. Then change the font color to green. Next, select cell F6 and enter the following. Equals, move to the budget worksheet and select cell C3 and press enter. You can then copy this formula down using the fill handle. Finally, change the spending number to red and change the remaining number to blue. For the final touch, select column C, change the horizontal alignment to center, then select column F and change the horizontal alignment to center. And just like that, you are finished. Awesome, awesome job. Now, before you go, I want to show you how to expand the tables on the other 3 worksheets just in case you need more space. So let's move back to the Budget tab. To add more rows to the table, follow these exact steps. Select a number of rows in the middle of the table. It doesn't matter where, as long as it's somewhere below the top row and somewhere above the bottom row. And then right-click and insert rows above or below. And we do it this way so that the new rows are all included in all of the formulas that we have already written. And you follow this exact same process to expand the tables on the guest and task worksheets as well. Alrighty, I think that's just about everything that you need to know. If you have any other questions, leave me a comment and like this video if you had a good time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next Spreadsheet Life video.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall